Imagine biting into a biscuit so tough it could double as a building material. Now imagine that biscuit being your daily source of food for months on end. Welcome to the fascinating world of hardtack, the survival biscuit that fed sailors, soldiers, and unlucky travelers for centuries. And yes, it's called the biscuit that could break teeth for a very good reason. So how tough was hardtack, the biscuit that could break teeth? Let's dive into the history, the recipes, and the cracked molars behind this legendary food right here on History of Food. Hardtack is basically the OG survival food. It's a simple cracker made from flour, water, and sometimes salt. That's it. No sugar, no butter, no yeast. Just a bland brick of baked dough. If modern food is tender, flashy, colorful, quick to disappear, hardtack is more like an arranged marriage with a medieval peasant. Not exciting, but dependable. When baked properly and stored correctly, hardtack can last decades. Some pieces from the American Civil War still exist today in museums, and technically you could eat them. Would it taste good? Absolutely not. But you wouldn't die from it, which back then was considered gourmet dining. Hardtack wasn't invented by accident. It was survival engineering. Ancient Egyptians had a version of it. Roman soldiers carried a form called buccellatum, and during the Age of Exploration, sailors relied on hardtack to cross oceans without starving. Think about it. Fresh bread molds in a few days, meat rots, fruit turns to mush. But hardtack? That bad boy could sit in a barrel for years, just waiting for its chance to crack someone's molar in the middle of the Atlantic. Christopher Columbus ate hardtack. Pirates of the Caribbean gnawed on it. Even Napoleon's troops marched with it. If history had a flavor, it would taste like dust and disappointment. Basically, hardtack. Hardtack was as simple as it gets. Mix flour with just enough water to make a stiff dough, roll it out, cut it into squares, poke holes to keep it flat, and bake until dry as your aunt's humor. Sometimes salt was added, but the real secret was dryness. Hardtack wasn't food so much as edible cement, built to last for years and keep people alive on long voyages or in the middle of war. Sailors suffered the most from hardtack. Stored for months or even years in a ship's hold, the biscuits were rock hard and often crawling with weevils. Biting into one might reveal tiny bugs wriggling inside, but sailors got used to it. Some knocked the insects out, while others simply ate them for the extra protein. To make the bricks even remotely edible, they soaked them in coffee, water, or rum. Otherwise, chewing one could mean more than chipped teeth. It could mean a dislocated jaw. Hardtack was a staple of military rations, especially in the Civil War, where soldiers dubbed it tooth dullers and sheet iron crackers. When hunger struck, they got inventive, frying it with bacon grease into skilly-gaily or softening it in soups and stews. With enough fat or liquid, the brick-like biscuit became almost edible. Hardtack's many nicknames perfectly sum up its reputation. Over the years, it earned titles like molar breakers, sheet iron biscuits, dog biscuits, and my personal favorite, worm castles. When a food collects more nicknames than actual flavors, you know it left a memorable, if not exactly pleasant, mark on history. Yes, you can make hardtack at home, and plenty of survivalists, campers, and history buffs still bake it for fun. Or, just in case society collapses and we all have to eat like pirates again. When baked properly and stored in a sealed container, it can last indefinitely. But it proves the point. Hardtack is basically the Twinkie of the 18th century, only far less tasty. You might be wondering, Why would anyone choose to eat something so awful? The answer is simple: survival. When your options are hardtack or starvation, suddenly hardtack doesn't sound too bad. Think of it as the food equivalent of dial-up internet. Slow, painful, outdated, but at the time it was revolutionary. It allowed humans to explore oceans, fight wars, and endure famines. Here's a fun story. Some soldiers joked about using hardtack as bullets. While there's no evidence of anyone actually shooting them from muskets, the idea makes sense. Hardtack was practically indestructible. In fact, some historians believe soldiers really did chuck leftover hardtack at each other during camp downtime. Imagine a food fight where the food is basically medieval throwing stars. Compare hardtack to today's survival snacks. Energy bars are packed with protein, fiber, vitamins, even chocolate. Freeze-dried meals taste almost like the real thing. Hardtack, on the other hand, is just flour and regret. But here's the catch. Your granola bar expires in a year. Hardtack doesn't. In an apocalypse scenario, guess which one you'll still be chewing on 20 years later? Yeah, good old tooth-breaking hardtack. With people obsessed with doomsday prepping, minimalism, and ancestral diets, maybe hardtack is due for a glow-up. Imagine artisanal hardtack, gluten-free, locally sourced, baked in a hipster wood-fired oven, and who knows? If space travel ever gets serious, astronauts might rediscover the charm of food that lasts longer than their mission. Hardtack, the snack for Earth, Mars, and beyond. At the end of the day, hardtack represents more than food. It's a symbol of endurance and survival. Sure, it cracked teeth and ruined appetites, but it also fed explorers and soldiers who shaped history. Think of it as history baked into a square. Bland, yes. Brutal, definitely. But without it, many chapters of human history might not exist. Next time you gripe about soggy fries, remember your ancestors were gnawing on bug-filled flour bricks dunked in cold coffee just to survive. Hardtack may not win any awards. It's tough, ugly, and could probably chip a diamond, but it kept humanity alive through history's hardest times. Here's to the biscuit that could break teeth, but never broke the human spirit. Thank you for watching.